Burke, you will spend 2 days in solitary confinement for stealing the cigarettes. You're getting let off lightly. You could get an addition to your sentence. As for you, Smith, however much you think you are justified in assaulting Burke, I cannot allow you to take the law into your own hands. You will also spend 2 days in solitary confinement.
Yeah, well, I didn't expect to get away with it.
And you will be relieved of the privilege of working in the factory.
The doctor reported that Jason was covered in bruises. Now, you must have clouted him pretty hard and often.
Yeah, what's that supposed to mean, eh?
We have reason to believe that you're bashing your son.
Well, you're wrong. I clouted a little moron once or twice on the backside, yeah, but that's all. So you can stick your accusation. Will you shut the kid up?
Deny you hit Jason. I've seen the way you
I
bully
think
your
you'd
wife.
better accompany me to the station, Mr. Summers.
Shut up! Just shut up!
Oh, what's up with you?
Oh, God. You don't know what it's been like. Jason's screaming all day and all night. I can't stand it. I love him. And sometimes I want to kill him. I couldn't stand him crying and crying. So I threw him on the floor. It's not Tim bashing Jason. It's me.
You can keep the submachine gun, but would you leave the flamethrower? I promise I'll only use it to boil up the kettle of tea.
And to protect herself from the men at the factory.
I did promise me Mum I'd keep myself nice till I was 21.
Life is full of broken promises.
All right, now settle down. Before you go, I would just like to remind you the department will be keeping a close watch on this project. If there are any indications of abusing the privilege, the scheme will stop and everyone will suffer. Well, I think that's all, except I hope you enjoy the day.
Okay.
All right, Miss Bennett, Mrs. Barry, move them out.
All right, file out to the bus. And keep together and keep the noise down.
It's a pity Bee's going to miss this. Be right up her alley.
Come on, hurry up, you two. Look at all this traffic.
Oh, well, it's just normal peak hour traffic.
It won't look good if we're late on our first day.
Don't worry, I'll get us there on time.
Hey, look at that! Look at that! Built like a Brunswick bricklayer.
Oh, wipe your chin, Margot. You're drooling down me neck.
God, look at those three over there. God, I love it when they wear their shirts open to the waist. Smorgasbord.
Oh, yeah, I bet they're gay.
How can you tell?
Oh, well, their jeans are too tight and they dress to the right.
1 hour with me and I'd straighten them out.
Or kill them.
Apart from the obvious, oh God, look, there goes another one. You know what I miss the most?
Yeah, I miss it too, but mine's legal.
Oh, I said apart from the obvious. Now, what I miss most is shoes. Nice high-heeled shoes.
Oh, you're mad.
When you walk down the street, they make your hips sway.
Oh.
Make you feel like a woman.
Yeah, well, I do too, but I don't know where I'm going to get one this time of the day.
What do you miss most, Jude?
I don't know. Driving my cab, I guess. You know, talking to people you probably never see again and cruising around the city at 3 o'clock in the morning when it's quiet. Just being free.
Welcome, ladies.
Good morning, Mr. Reynolds. How many sets of keys are there for the front gate in our section?
Just the two. I have a full set, and my foreman, Vince Talbot, has the other.
Well, I think for security reasons, I might as well hold on to those during the day, and we'll return them to you as we leave.
No, I think not, Miss Bennett. I think you'll find we're perfectly capable of handling your special security arrangements. Now, ladies, if you'll just follow me. Miss Bennett. Okay.
There could be big trouble. The women are already suspicious about the scheme.
Hey, let's not get our knickers on a knot till we see how it works out, eh?
They don't like the idea of bringing in cheap labour. They think there'll come a time when all the work will be done by prisoners, and they'll all be out of a job.
Bloody rubbish. It's only one special contract. They know that.
Yeah, well, you convince them.
It's not my problem, is it? It's a management decision. All I have to do is make sure they get the work done. You're the boss's right arm. You talk to them about it. I've got problems of my own. And here they come now.
This is my secretary, Miss White, and my foreman, Vince Talbot.
Hi.
Miss Bennett and Mrs. Barrett.
How do you do?
I'll leave you to introduce the ladies. Okay, I think we'd better get back to those accounts.
Yes, Mr. Reynolds.
Oh, Vince will show you anything you want to know and answer any queries you may have. Have a good day.
Thank you. Mrs. Bryant? Burns?
Yeah, well, don't worry about that now. We'll get on to names as we go along. Now, girls, the tea room's over there. Offices and toilets are over there. Now, that door will be kept locked at all times, so if nature calls, you'll have to be accompanied by one of your officers. Or me, if you're game. Now, if you two ladies would like to go into the tea room, there's chairs and tables in here. You can put your feet up while we get to work.
Well, thank you, Mr. Talbot, but it's our job to stay out here and keep an eye on the women.
Oh, yeah? Well, suit yourselves. As you can see, there's nowhere for them to go, and you could get in the way. It gets pretty busy in here. Now, if you girls would like to follow me, I'll sort out who's going to do what. Right, the first rule is, don't do what I do what I say. No smoking. Okay, sit down, will you?
Well, may as well have a nice cup of tea, I suppose.
Keep even pressure on that pedal there. Keep an even speed. Keep an even...
And with respect, sir, surely it is obvious that Mrs. Summers is in need of psychiatric care, and the conditions under which she is forced to live
Mr. Reed, there are many women forced to live under imperfect conditions without resorting to physically harming their children.
Yes, sir, but...
There is far too much emphasis these days on doing your own thing, which in many cases is taken as an excuse for lack of self-control.
Sir, I was not condoning Mrs. Summers' actions. I was simply requesting that she be held under psychiatric care and treatment until such time as her trial. To send her back to prison now could only cause her condition to deteriorate even further.
Mr. Summers, if the children are placed in your care, can you give an assurance that they will be well looked after until the results of the trial are known?
Yeah.
Very well. I have taken your arguments into consideration, Mr. Reed. However, I feel very strongly about crimes of this nature. As you are, of course, aware, psychiatric counseling and examination are available to prisoners. I know you will ensure that evidence of this nature is presented at the trial. You may stand down.
Thank you, sir.
I do not wish to see the children's safety put in further jeopardy. So, I have therefore decided that the defendant will be held on remand until a date has been set for the trial.
Gail! Thank you. Would you just stand over there? Gail Audrey Summers, you've been charged with assault and battery of your son, Jason, and are to be held on remand until your trial, at a date to be set. Is that clear? You'll have to give me your bag and your jewelry.
Yes? Yes, Mrs. Davidson. She's just arrived. Well, Mrs. Jackson's booking her in right now. Well, she'll be another couple of minutes yet. Very well, I'll tell her. Mrs. Jackson, Mrs. Davidson would like to see Summers before you take her to the cells.
I can't get this out even when I cheat. Oh, do you feel like a game of poker?
No, thanks.
Coon can?
No.
Old maid? It's a card game.
Look, I don't care whether we're in the way or not. I'm going out to check on those prisoners.
Oh, all right, I'll come with you. I've read all the magazines anyway.
Mrs. Barry, let's not forget that we're still on duty and should conduct ourselves accordingly.
Did you hear about the case of hepatitis they had in D Block?
God, they'll drink anything, that lot.
Can I have more work and less talk?
Hello, Miss Bennett. We thought you'd gone home.
Oh, damn it.
Do you mind your language, Bryant? And don't just sit there, pick it up.
But you're standing on it, Miss Bennett.
Miss Bennett, if you must come into the workroom, could you stand down the other end, out of the way?
You've got your job, Mr. Talbot, and I've got mine.
Mrs. Barry, can I go to the toilet, please?
Yeah, me too, Mrs. Barry.
Yeah, and me.
Could you unlock the door, please, Mr. Talbot?
Before Mrs. Jackson takes you to your cell, there is something I think you ought to know. You may find the other prisoners hostile towards you if they find out why you are in here. A lot of them have children of their own, and being separated from them makes them, if anything, overprotective of all children. So it may be wise to tell them you are in here for some other charge. Naturally, you will receive adequate protection from the staff, but it may help with the other inmates' general attitude towards you. Mrs. Jackson will take you to your cell now.
And as you're on remand, you won't have to wear a prison uniform. It's all right. I'll keep the door open. Oh, and another thing. You won't be forced to do any work, but it sometimes helps to keep yourself occupied. You are required to make your bed and keep your room tidy. Gail?
Yeah.
Look, I know what you're going through. I've seen it 100 times before. I'll try and help as much as I can. And Paul Reed will see you as soon as he gets back. Now, don't give in.
Be all right.
Good. Now, have you thought of a story to tell the other women? Well, what about, you'd been picked up for shoplifting and you weren't able to raise the bail. I'd keep it as simple as possible and try not to talk about it too much.
Yeah, simple.
Anyway, you won't be seeing much of the other women until tonight when they come back from work. Well, I'd better be going. Why don't you make your bed and try to settle in? Oh, you're back.
Yes, for what it's worth. Would you like a coffee?
Thanks. I'm beginning to wish I'd never moved from the unit.
Yeah, why's that?
Oh, the flat's all right, I suppose. But if I hadn't moved, Gail Summers wouldn't be in here now.
Now, listen, don't start blaming yourself for that. And aren't you forgetting young Jason? How's she settling in, by the way?
Not well at all. I told her you'd see her.
Yeah, right. Well, I suppose if she wasn't suffering in here, she'd be suffering at home.
But she isn't a criminal, Paul. She shouldn't even be in here.
I know. We just happened to strike the wrong magistrate on the wrong day. Meantime, I'll arrange for some psychiatric tests and talk to a few welfare people.
Well, good luck.
Thank you. Listen, could you bring her to my office in about 15 minutes? I better let her know what I've got in mind.
Right.
I take it everybody's friend is trying to save our new arrival?
You don't approve?
Anyone who bashes their kids deserves to be punished.
Jim, how can you say that? You don't know what pressures she was under.
You don't take your frustrations out on your kids.
Jim, a woman in Gail's position isn't able to think of the consequences. She wasn't deliberately hurting the children. She was hitting out at her own frustrations. Little Jason just happened to get in the way.
Nobody's home life's perfect, so why don't we all go out and bash our kids, eh?
Well, maybe some of us have a lower breaking point.
Yeah, listen, I'll call you back. Thanks, Meg. Come in, Gail. Sit down. Well, are you settling in all right?
Yeah, thanks.
It's hardly a home away from home, though, is it?
It's no worse than I deserve.
Yeah, don't be too hard on yourself.
Should have been harder on myself and easier on the kids.
Do you want to be punished?
Yeah.
Well, I don't believe that you need punishment. I believe that you need help. And I intend to do everything I can to see that you get that help. I spoke to your husband after the hearing. I'm sure we can rely on his cooperation. I'd like you to undergo tests with the prison psychiatrist. I've been in touch with the welfare department to see about the possibility of having some home help for you. If we can convince the court that your home situation has improved, there's every chance that you'll get off on a bond and that you will retain custody of the children.
I've never known anyone to go to so much trouble to help a criminal.
Gail, you're not a criminal. If anything, you're a victim.
I must be a criminal. Otherwise, they wouldn't have put me in prison.
Sorry.
Irene, if you just hold the sleeve more around this way, you'll find it's easier. All right? All right, girls, just finish this section before you go for lunch.
I'm sorry, Mr. Talbot. I've got strict instructions that the women break for lunch at the appointed time and that they have a full lunch break. Your lunches are in the tea room. If you want to go to the toilet, you'll be escorted by Mrs. Barry or myself.
Oh, Miss Bennett, I thought as it was such a pleasant day, the ladies might like to have their lunch outside.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds, but I've got strict instructions that they're to eat in the tea room.
Oh, it's all right. I rang Mrs. Davidson. She thinks it's a good idea.
Well, I wish you'd cleared it with me first. All right. File outside for your lunch today. Mrs. Barry.
I'll get the lunchbox.
Hey, the new tea ladies sure look familiar.
Now, they all look the same after a while. I think it's the steam from the tea urn wrinkles their skin.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Gaffney. Yours seems to be a bit squashed. Must have been the steam from the tea urn.
That's all right. Now it looks more like the lunches we get back at Wentworth.
Thanks, Mrs. Barry.
That should keep them busy for 5 minutes.
Aren't you ladies eating?
Oh, we ate earlier in the tea room, thanks.
How are they behaving themselves?
They seem okay on the surface, but you've got to keep one step ahead of them. I'll go and check the gates.
She's very security conscious.
Oh, yes, she takes her job very seriously.
Cop onto that mob perving at us through the fence, would you? Oh, yeah. It's like we're monkeys in a zoo. At least they're not throwing peanuts. I wonder if they'd be interested in having a bet on the Gee-Gees.
Well, I reckon you're crazy for even thinking about escaping. You're never going to get away with it. I tried it.
Yeah, I know.
And you need friends of the kind that will help you, and money, lots of it.
I wonder if that boss's secretary, what was her name, Kay White? I wonder if she's worth cultivating. She seemed very sympathetic the few times she was in today.
Look, you know what Mrs. Davidson said this morning? She said if any of us get into any trouble while we're working here, that they'll drop the scheme and we'll all suffer. Anyway, you still need money.
Yeah. I wish I knew where Nolene has stashed those race winnings.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. Can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to see Nolene Burke, please.
I'm sorry. She's not allowed to see visitors at the moment. You see, she's in solitary confinement.
Oh. Oh, could I leave a message? It's about her family. I'm her sister.
Yes.
Well, perhaps I could help. I'm the social worker here.
Oh, thank you. Well, you see, it's just that her mother asked me to tell her that, well, because of the financial situation, it looks like our youngest brother and sister, Wayne and Narelle, might be put in a home.
I see.
Well, I offered to have them stay with Brian and me, but Mum's a bit proud, see, and, well, she doesn't really get on with my husband. Well, Brian was willing to help, you know, but Mum said she'd rather see them in a home. She said what was good enough for Dad was good enough for them.
Well, I'll get a message through to Nolene and perhaps she can come up with an alternative.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, aren't you going to wait for an answer?
Oh, no. To tell the truth, I wasn't looking forward to meeting her face-to-face. I know Nolene. That's the main reason I got married and left home. No, I've done what I said I'd do.
I'll call into the factory on the way home, see how the first day went.
Right. Oh, Mrs. Davidson, Nolene Burke's sister's down in reception. There's some talk about the two younger children being put in a home.
Oh, dear.
What does she expect us to do about it?
Well, she wants to find out if Nolene can come up with an alternative.
Well, Burke's in solitary, no visitors.
Yes, she knows that. She wants me to get a message to her.
All right, then. Mr. Fletcher, would you take Burke to Mr. Reed's office, please?
Thank you.
The values about kids are a bit confused, aren't they, Paul?
What's that?
Well, this morning you were trying to protect a woman who'd beaten up her children. And now you're concerned that 2 kids that live in a slum might end up in a home.
So?
Well, did it ever occur to you that a well-run state home might give those kids a better upbringing than either the Burkes with their criminal mentality or Summers with her bash-happy attitude?
Jim, if the Burke children do go into a home, it could send Nolene round the bend. I know she's a very rough sort of a person, but in her own way, she does care about them. As for Gail Summers, she's emotionally bankrupt because nobody cares. Now, what do you want me to do? Sacrifice both of them for the sake of the children? Or hadn't that occurred to you?
Well, how did they go?
Not too bad for the first day, I suppose.
Not too bad. We were terrific. Well, it's good to see you in such high spirits. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Ah, Mrs. Davidson.
Well, they seem happy enough. How about you?
Oh, yes, indeed. Why don't you come inside and have a cup of tea? I'll show you their production shop.
Yes, I'd like that, if it won't hold you out.
Not at all. You know, some of those girls are pretty quick on the uptake.
Yes, you could say that.
Ah, Vince.
Mr. Reynolds?
Ah, good. I was just going to show that to Mrs. Davidson. There. Not bad, eh?
I'm afraid it really doesn't make much sense to me. The main thing is they did the job and you were pleased with them.
Oh, yes, very. Especially since it was their first day. Now, let's have that cup of tea, shall we?
Yes.
Would you like to sit down?
Thank you. I'm so glad it's worked out. I think it'll be wonderful therapy for them.
Yes, I should think the complete break from the atmosphere and routine of the prison would be invaluable.
I also think that they'll feel they're contributing to something apart from the prison and their day-to-day existence.
Yes, and the work would give them valuable experience for a job when they get out. Now, I think that's terribly important.
I'm very glad to hear you say that.
Excuse me. Mr. Reynolds, you have to check those figures before the accountant arrives.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Kay. I'll be right there. Oh, what a shame. I was looking forward to a good long chinwag. Look, why don't we meet later and have dinner? We could pick up where we left off.
No, I don't think so.
But it's a very good restaurant.
Mr. Reynolds, I think it should be made quite clear from the outset that ours is to be a professional relationship only.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean
Good
to.
afternoon.
Oh, that bloody snotty-nosed bitch. And she and her husband wouldn't offer to help, would they? No.
According to her,
I thought she was better than us. She'd be happy to see little Wayne and Narelle put in a home.
She said that she and her husband offered to take the children, but your mother wouldn't allow it.
Oh, yeah, I'll bet. Because she wouldn't offer to chuck Mum the odd $1 each week, would she? No, she can afford that. Her bloody husband's working.
Would your mother have accepted it?
Oh, I'm stuck in here. I can't help them now, Leanne's. Well, there's got to be some way.
Look, I've been under the welfare department. Your mother refuses to take a pension. Therefore, there is nothing they can do, I'm afraid.
We don't take social welfare. I told you, the only help you get in this world is to help yourself.
Yes, and that's done you and your family a lot of good, hasn't it?
Don't interrupt me while I'm thinking. Got to get some money somehow. How much do you reckon we'd need?
According to the welfare department, if your mother had a regular source of income, such as a pension, they may not have to take the children.
What would you reckon about, say, $250?
Yeah, well, that could put things off for a while, but where are you going to get that kind of money in here?
Yeah, I suppose you're right. About as much chance as backing a 50-to-1 outsider. Listen, Mr. Reed, I reckon the Burkes are just about done their dash. Do you reckon you could swing it so that little Wayne and Narelle could come and see me one more time before they put them away?
Yes, I'm sure that could be arranged. Once you're out of solitary.
Yeah, of course. I'm ready to go now.
Oh, she's ready to go.
Yeah.
Mr. Fletcher, Burke is ready to go back now.
Oh.
Well, it was really pretty good, Lizzie. We had our lunch outside and everything.
Half your luck. I was locked up all day in that bloody laundry with no one to talk to. Any fellas at the factory?
Oh, only the foreman, Vince. He wasn't much chop and he sure got his pound of flesh.
Yeah, and I caught him eyeing off your pound of flesh a couple of times too.
Oh, get off it, Margot. He was not. Anyway, a lot of good it'd do him. He knows I'm a married woman.
How?
'Cause I told him.
Oh. How do you like it, love?
What?
Working in the factory.
Oh, it's all right, you know, if you get a kick out of sewing sleeves and dust coats.
She's still thinking about escaping, and I've tried to tell her she'll never get away with it, but she's thinking of ways to use working at the factory.
You can't do that. You'll spoil it for the rest of us. What do you have in mind?
Nothing much, really. I mean, the place is locked up tighter than Vera's chastity belt.
That's not locked. That's rust.
You know, there is a possibility. That bookkeeper. She seemed very open and friendly.
Do you reckon she could smuggle something in here for us?
Lizzie.
She could smuggle in some clothing for you, you know, as a disguise for when you want to escape.
Oh, Lizzie!
Well, I was only trying to help. You reckon she could smuggle in a muffler for that bloody bell?
Try putting your mouth over it.
Righto, ladies. Muster, everybody out.
Oh, Mrs. Jackson, do you reckon you could do something about getting me on the detail for the factory?
I think they're saving you up for a new scheme, Lizzie.
It's going to be a new one. What's it going to be?
Bottling whiskey at the distillery?
Beauty!
Summers, could you step out into the corridor for a minute, please? Ladies, this is Gail Summers, who arrived this morning. She's in on remand for a few weeks.
What'd they get you for, love?
Shoplifting. I couldn't raise the bail.
What a shame.
You married?
Any kids? How many?
3.
Oh.
Stevie and Katrina. Jason.
Oh, come on, don't get upset, love. Is this your first offence?
Yeah, but if they send me to prison, they'll take the kids away from me.
No. If it's your first offence, they'll probably let you off on a bond.
Anyway, lots of the ladies in here have custody of their kids, haven't they, Lizzie?
Yeah. So you look on the brighter side. You gonna eat with us tonight?
Oh, no, thanks. I'm not hungry.
Adams, Bryan, Burns, Gaffney, Harper, Nagel, Birdsworth.
Keep your chin up, eh? And I'll see you later.
I certainly will be glad to get home today.
I take it the first day at the factory wasn't exactly a picnic.
Some people thought it was, but it's doomed like every other project they get going.
Yeah, I can't see it taking off myself.
Well, the factory foreman didn't help the situation either. The way he treated me, you'd think he was in charge of the prisoners. And then the owner took it into his head that he'd allow the women to eat outside. He went straight over my head. He rang Mrs. Davidson before he even mentioned it to me.
It sounds like another Paul Reed. You know he's trying to get that Summers woman off the child-bashing charge? I suppose he wants her free so that she can bash her kids whenever they happen to knock over the milk jug or...
Now, that's not fair, Jim. I think losing your own kids has coloured your reasoning.
That wasn't necessary.
Well, I think it was. All you can think about are the kids. Of course they've got to be considered. But what about the mother?
Well, all right. Give her psychiatric treatment, but give it to her in prison so at least she knows she's being punished for what she did.
Punished? Have you seen her? She's a wreck.
I agree with Jim. She should be kept in custody for the children's protection.
And how would you know, Vera? You haven't even had children of your own. If you haven't been there, don't give an opinion.
Do you really feel that sympathetic to Summers? Or are you just feeling guilty at helping to put her in here in the first place? All right, factory detail, move out. And let's have a bit more discipline than we saw yesterday.
See you, Lizzie.
Quiet, Burns.
Hello, love. Sleep well?
Oh, hello.
Well, did you? Sleep well?
Oh, no, not really.
Oh, well, par for the course. What you going to do today?
I don't know, hadn't thought.
Why don't you volunteer for the laundry? You don't have to work because you're on remand, but help keep your mind off your troubles.
I don't know.
Tell the truth, it's much for my sake as it is for yours. I got no one to talk to. One of my mates is in the pound and all the rest have gone off to the factory to work. What do you say?
There you are, Lizzie. Come on, time for work.
Mrs. Jackson, could I volunteer to work in the laundry today? I mean, if that's all right.
Yes, of course, if you want to. Well, get a move on, Lizzie.
You were saying last night that you got 3 kids. What are they like?
Oh, well, Stevie's just a baby, and Katrina's 5, and Jason's 3. Oh, he's just at that age, you know, into everything. But he's a good kid. I mean, he doesn't mean to be naughty.
Oh, of course they don't. They're just full of beans. I've got a little granddaughter, Josie. She's been sick, the poor little soul, but you should hear the things that she gets up to. She's going to have an operation. She's been really very sick. She's got this...
No, like this, you see. Then it makes the edges less difficult.
Thanks. That's real great. You sure are a Jill of all trades, aren't you? Bookkeeper, secretary, know all the little sewing tricks. You worked here long?
About 12 years. I've got to know this business from top to bottom.
Yeah, you'd have to, wouldn't you?
I'm also liaison officer for all the other sections. Over there, we have the fashion stuff. Not Dior, mind you, but not bad.
So you'd have a full reign of the whole place, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you could say that.
We're going to have a flutter on the Gigi's?
You betcha. I think today's going to be my lucky day. $2 on cobblestones in the first, huh?
Is this a closed club or can anybody join? May I place a bet?
Yeah, I guess so.
Good. I'll have $10 on Golden Hind in the first. Is that okay?
Yeah, $10 on number 3 in the first. You got it.
Good. Do you have a radio?
No, I was going to check the results in tonight's paper.
Oh, there's one in my office. I'll bring it to you later when I give you the money.
How'd you get yourself out of that little fix, Burke? Bribed the VJ, eh?
Yeah, offered him my body. But he said he was holding out for yours.
You're lucky you didn't get yourself an extra 4 days like Smith.
Oh, us beauties have got away with me, man.
Yeah, all right, Raquel. Check your cell, then I'll fix your work detail.
Burke?
Yes, Mrs. Jackson?
You've got visitors.
Oh, it's so bloody stupid, Noel. The kids would be all right if you'd only let me go on the dole and Mum accept the pension. God knows she's due for it.
God, how many times do I have to tell you, Gary? We're Burkes and we don't take charity. We're not taking any money from any stinking government department. We make our own way.
Oh, well, we haven't been doing too good lately, have we?
No, don't you start.
Well, since you got picked up, I really got to watch me step. Cops are breathing down me neck every minute.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Listen, walk up this way a bit. I've got something for you.
What is it?
Money. $250. Down the front.
200?
Shut up. Screw's watching.
Where are you going, Burke?
Oh, I was just going for a bit of a wander, Mrs. Jackson.
No, you stay right where you are, please.
It's all right if I give little Wayne and Narelle a hug before they go. I mean, they might be getting put into a home and I mightn't see them for years.
No, I'm sorry, you know the rules. No physical contact.
Bitch.
What are we going to do?
Look, there's a group of women go out of here every morning, work in this clothing factory, see?
Coming down near the turn, 500 metres left to go. Kenny's condition still in front. They're barely a length now.
What's going on?
Getting closer.
Who brought that radio in here?
I did.
Well, you can take it back again, or turn it off.
May I remind you, Miss Bennett, I am not one of your charges. This is my radio, and I have the management's permission to use it whenever I choose. If I choose to listen to it whilst I'm working in here, I will do so. And there is nothing you can do about it.
On the outside to grab the lead. Kenny's condition second, followed by Manny's Rhoda. Here's Cobblestone's
Now back to work, all of you.
Snagnose in front of Manny's Rhoda and Cobblestone's down the outside, coming quickly now. Snagnose
Come on, you little beauty.
Cobblestone's on the outside, picking up quickly. Cobblestone's going home the better on the outside, and Cobblestone's won from Snagnose. Manny's Rhoda ran third and then gone behind. The Rose finished.
Oh, well, I'll get you next time. $10 on Carmen Dancer in the third.
You'll do me for a rough punter. Give the dough to Jude, would you? Her nag came in.
Sure. Yeah, Jude, thanks. What are the chances of getting a reasonable street dress from the other section? It's not impossible. What size? 10? 16. This is for you, and there'll be more of it, huh? Later? Make that 20 on Carmen Dancer.
I want to see my wife.
Hello, Mr. Summers?
Well, if it isn't the friendly neighbor.
I hardly think that's
Look,
necessary.
I want to see my wife, eh?
It may interest you to know that I'm not obliged to let you visit your wife, especially when it's patently obvious you've been drinking.
Look, don't stick your nose up at me, lady. This is a legal matter. If you refuse to let me see her, Gail might be having a little visit from my solicitor. Now, do I see her or not?
If Mr. Summers gives you any trouble at all whilst I'm away, please call a guard and have him thrown out.
Well, would you like to see him alone?
No, I'd rather you were here, if that's all right.
It's fine, it's fine. Ah, come in, come in.
Hello, Tim.
I want to speak to my wife alone.
Well, as you said, Mr. Summers, this is a legal matter. I'm here to protect your wife's interests, at her request.
What about her?
Mrs. Jackson has to be here because of departmental rules. A prisoner cannot receive a visitor without an officer supervising.
All right.
How are the kids?
Oh, I'm surprised you care. They're staying with her mum. At least they'll be safe there.
Mr. Summers, hadn't it occurred to you that you might be at least partly responsible for your wife's treatment of the children?
What the hell are you talking about? I worked my guts out for her. For all of them. She never went without money. All she had to do was take care of one lousy flat, which she managed to keep looking like a pigsty. And look after 3 little kids, that's all.
That's all. And it never interested you to find out exactly what that involves?
Come on, mate, that's woman's work. Thousands of women do it year in, year out without taking it on. The kids?
Mr. Summers, your wife is sick.
She's unfit to be a mother. And that's why I came. These papers give me custody of the kids. And what's more, I'm starting divorce proceedings as soon as possible.
You can't be serious.
Look, you keep out of this, mate. This is between the wife and me. Look, I came here off my own bat. I could have gone through my solicitor.
Please don't. Just wait a while.
For what? Look, it's been finished from the start. I want it finished now.
Mr. Summers, your time is up. You'll have to go. I said you'll have to go.
Wait, I've got a little job for you to do.
Well, hi, Judy. How was your day at the factory? Oh, fine, thanks, Nolan. It was fantastic. What sort of little job?
Oh, well, Gary and the kids come out to visit me this afternoon, but I couldn't slip the dough to them because the screw was freezing down my neck. So I want you to do it for me at the factory.
Well, I don't know. I mean, how am I supposed to get it to them?
Well, don't worry, I've worked all that out. And don't cross me up, Brian, because if you bugger this up, you needn't bother to come back.
Don't worry. I wouldn't let you down.
We were getting on so well in the laundry together. Then Meg Jackson come in, and she took her away and she never come back.
Well, maybe she went to see a solicitor about her trial or something like that.
Yeah. I'm real worried about her, Dor. She's such a sad little thing. She shouldn't be in here. beauty! Food! I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. How'd you know you're getting that for dinner?
All right, come on, you lot, move it.
Beat me to the gun.
Oh, I thought I'd rush off and grab a bite to eat and perhaps go and see a movie.
Sounds like a good idea.
Oh, well, I don't particularly want to. But I just don't want to go home and maybe run into that pig, Tim Summers.
Yes, I can understand that.
What's going to happen to her, Paul?
I honestly don't know, Meg. But I intend to move heaven and earth to make sure that he doesn't keep those children. What sort of a chance would they have with a father like that?
Well, under the circumstances, I don't like your chances.
Listen, if you're not too keen on going to a movie, how about coming home with me for dinner?
Oh, I don't know. You must be tired.
No, I'd be glad of the company.
All right, then. Thank you. I'd love to.
Fine. After you.
Hey, love, you going to come and have dinner with us and... Oh, love. Come on. What's the matter?
Oh, Lizzie, why can't I just die?
Oh, come on, don't take it so hard. You're only on remand and you'll probably get off on a bond anyway.
No, it's not that. My husband's suing for a divorce. And he's already got custody of the kids.
Come on, Summers, snap out of it. Under the circumstances, it's probably the best thing that could have happened to him.
Bloody Fletcher. He's got a heart like a bloody swinging brick.
Yeah. Gail, what did he mean by under the circumstances?
Oh, he knows I'm not in here for shoplifting. I'm here because I hit me little boy. I hurt Jason.
Harper, Burke, Bryant, Burns, Birdsworth. Burns, Birdsworth.
So, with social welfare and a little bit of home help, she has a better chance than you think.
Well, I certainly feel much happier about it. Thanks. And the dinner was lovely.
Oh, well, nobody cooks bangers and mash the way I do. Except Tony, perhaps.
He's due out soon, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Tomorrow.
How do you feel?
Oh, relieved. You know, I've got to give Tony more support. It's not just a question of understanding his needs, but helping him to achieve them as well. I've thought a lot about Tony in the last couple of months. All that drug business, the way he feels about Sally, the reasons why he rebelled. I'll tell you one thing, Meg, I'm never, ever going to let him down again.
You'll make Father of the Year yet. Well, I must go, Paul. I'm on early shift tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thanks. I feel much better.
Oh, it was good for me, too. Come on, I'll drive you home.
Going to the laundry today?
No, thanks. I don't feel up to it today.
Okay.
Just remember what I said. If anything glasses up this deal, you'll get such a shock it'll short-circuit your pacemaker.
Don't worry, Nolene. I'll make sure it gets in the right hands. What do you think of the new hairdo?
Oh, it looks real good, Jude.
Yeah, it should do. It's worth $250.
What?
Nolene's given me her race winnings. She's asked me to pass them on to her kid brother and sister outside the factory.
How are you going to do it?
You kidding? I'm not. I've been dying to get my hands on this money for a long time.
But if Nolene finds out, she'll kill you.
By the time Nolene finds out, I'll be gone.
Right, factory detail. Get moving.